I think when it comes to the analysis of this State of the Union address, the pundits have it all wrong. They're focusing on President Bush, on how many times members of Congress stood up in applause, how many times it was the Democratic side versus the Republican side standing up. They're talking about how it feels to give his last address, the fact that his two daughters were there, what it means symbolically. But the truth is that the discussion in the State of the Union has almost nothing to do with President Bush, because the ideas that he was talking about, the ideology that drove the public policies that he presented last night, will endure when Bush is no longer president. So it behooves us to have a discussion about what the ideology is that was actually driving those proposals. A case in point is his discussion about the mortgage industry. While he did have some good proposals around the FHA reform, his Hope Now program is voluntary. He talked about volunteerism at an earlier point in the speech being an all-time high, but I don't think he meant that that should apply to the mortgage sector. He didn't get to the actual underlying issues of a government that has abdicated its responsibility to regulate the mortgage industry. And that is why we are in this foreclosure crisis in the first place. An ideology-driven healthcare proposal, still talking about health savings accounts, which are really just tax shelters for the wealthy, and that would wind up providing fewer healthcare options to people, with absolutely no discussion about the actual systemic causes for our skyrocketing healthcare costs. Ideology when it comes to education. Pell Grants for kids. A Pell Grant for a kid is a voucher that would in the amount of $300 million. It's an insult to the vast majority of current and aspiring middle-class families who are wondering why the federal government has abdicated its responsibility to improving public education. Let's not forget that the No Child Left Behind Act that the President heralded has been underfunded since 2002 by $71 billion. The ideology behind restricting lawsuits, making it so that we can't hold telecom industries accountable for violating our agreements, for violating our privacy. Each one of these proposals is about ideology. That ideology will not leave when President Bush does.